It's the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.
Welcome to the Sunday Spread, where we always have something good cooking for you. As always, the regular bunch is all in studio, finally, because all the vacations are over, all the fish catching is over, all the Key West and Key Largo partying is over, and we're back to business. Once again, I am Sean Bell. To my left is Devin Caney. To my right is Barrett Brooks. And before we even start, I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
What is the price tag to get you to sell out?
To sell out?
What is the price tag to get you to put your morals to the side a little bit? What's the price tag for you to say, you know what? I'll do it. What is that price?
I don't think I've reached that price just yet.
But there is a price because Myles Garrett said there's a price.
Yes.
Okay, Myles Garrett was out here saying, I want to play with a quarterback.
What is it, $40 million?
Yes. Right, $40 million annually. Myles Garrett is getting, again, this has happened shortly after our last show. Myles Garrett, his total value of the contract is over $200 million. It's over $120 guaranteed, $40 million a year after he said, I want out. I want to play with a winner. I want to play with a quarterback, right? And everybody was saying, you must not really want to win. That's what everybody was saying. In my mind, it was like, no, but there's a price tag. I want to win. I want to win. But if you're going to give me $40 million a year, I can end my career here. So that's why I'm asking y'all, before y'all get to the Myles Garrett thing, is there a price? There has to be a price. Everyone has a price. And I'm not saying to do anything immoral. I'm saying to just put some of your hopes and dreams to the side, like winning a Super Bowl, and going, okay, I'll take that.
I mean, the thing is, if I'm Myles Garrett, I don't know what I don't know how it works. I doubt he knows the actual offer because the Browns said they weren't open to trading him from the jump. And I think we all looked at that as like, okay, they're definitely going to trade him because he wants to win before his career ends. I just don't understand. Like, you're taking the money. You say you want to win basically everything that you've been saying since the season ended for you, which was a while ago in Cleveland. Was what, like, to get more money? Like, was that the goal in the end? Because that's what you settled for.
I don't think
settled
so.
Is
No,
that was my point. I don't think so.
But what made him think that other teams weren't going to pay? Maybe not exactly that much, but like he was still going to get a really big paycheck wherever he went once his contract was up.
You don't know, but at the same time, if you don't know what else is going on and they're offering you this type of money, yeah. I'm going to go back on that. I'm going to go like that is the amount where I'm like, yeah, forget this winning stuff. $40 million a year, $122 guaranteed million.
That's a quarterback contract.
Right? Like if other places they go, well, we give you $90 million guaranteed. Like, all right, I'm going to get $90 million. Then they go, no, we'll give you an extra 30 on top of that. Forget winning, dog. Cleveland. I'm Joe Thomas now. I'll retire here. I'm still going to the Hall.
I'm kicking it in the flats. You know, the flats down in Cleveland is the spot where you go kick it at. I'm going to the flats. I'm be down the flats, man. $40 million. And
Barrett, you won a Super Bowl.
Right, absolutely.
What would have been the contract to make you go, forget the Steelers stuff? I'll go to, I don't know who the worst team in the league is, probably like Cincinnati Bengals or something in your time period.
No, actually, they were good.
They had Ocho in them.
Yeah,
but whoever it was, what would have made you go, nah, forget this Steeler Nation stuff?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm cheap, man. It's $5 million. $5 million. You had me at 5.
An extra
put
5.
It like that. 5. Yes. 5.
Can I just talk about what's happening in our chat with our producers right now? That I just am so picked on. Like, you say that I pick on you, Sean. At least I'm open about it.
Okay.
Kenny, would Devin switch from Eagles reporter to Bears reporter for $1 million? Dylan, would Devin do a Jalen Hurts smear campaign for $1 million?
They are on you right now.
I don't know if $1 million. Maybe,
the answer is yes.
Honestly, like compared to what these football players make it like $2 to $5 million, and yeah, sure, whatever.
As a straight, like the smear campaign is something different, but as a straight reporter, you're taking $1 million. What are we talking about?
As a reporter,
we don't make nothing.
Please, oh my God,
we don't make
nothing. As a reporter,
nothing.
I'll take $1 million. Absolutely,
a $1 million a year. I'm out. My fandom is gone.
But to that point, so I was actually having this conversation with my brother the other day because we were just talking about how much these guys are paid, and I'm like, I just can't fathom, and I feel like I can almost relate in a way, but like on a way less money scale, where I choose to work here in Philadelphia because I'm from here and I love it and I've already moved around, and yeah, maybe offers come up in other cities, but I choose to stay here. And I always say, like, if I was a player, I would take less money to play in Philadelphia. Like, at that point, it's millions and millions of dollars. What is the difference? And my brother goes, Devin, these guys, there is a big difference. I'm like, what's the difference between like 14 mil and 20 mil? Really? Like, how much do you need? And I guess it's all relative. So I guess to them, that's like the same thing as, I don't know, 100,000 to 200,000 or however you want to compare it. I just would choose, I wouldn't want to live somewhere I didn't want to live, no matter how much the money was.
You know, I'm going to tell you the
If you're
truth.
not happy, it doesn't matter.
Well, you know, I mean, I do feel you that, because I turned down $100,000. I could have went to Detroit, or I could have went to Dallas. And I turned down $100,000 saying, no, I would never go to Dallas. I went to Detroit and said, forget that $100,000. I'm so pissed off at myself right now for giving away $100,000. I'm not gonna lie to you. It felt good when I said no and I went to Detroit and I balled at Detroit, but still, right now, as we speak at this time period right now, it's 11:30. I would love to have had that $100,000 right now in my bank account. I'm just saying.
Hey, in Dallas, it's a nice place to live. I know people don't want to hear that, but when I never lived there, but when I visited Dallas, I was like, oh, this is
Dallas is nice. Yeah,
this
Fort
is-
Worth,
this is-
Dallas.
This is a pretty good city right here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. So again, and Devin, when you got an extra $10 million, the way your mansion looks, you'll be fine. Hey, I'm not miserable in this city. I can tell you that right now. All right, let's go to some of the other big signings, because I can't even keep up with all the things that were happening. There were a million things that happened right now. DK Metcalf, I'm gonna go to there next. DK Metcalf going to the Steelers, and this is. First of all, you talking about ISS. Him and Pickens, you know how they like to fight?
Man.
Forget about football. They building a UFC team.
I promise you, I saw like all these memes about how they're just going to be the most chaotic duo in really whole offense in the league. And I couldn't stop thinking about your ISS comments throughout the season about George Pickens. Like, that is going to be cinema, but in a comical way. Like, they both might crash out at the same time.
Absolutely.
Multiple times throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Like, it's must-see TV to me. We don't even know who their quarterback is.
And that's the biggest thing right there.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
The Steelers. What are the Steelers doing? Because
They just signed Mason Rudolph, but I don't think he'll be the starter.
yeah. There's talks about them getting Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Russell Wilson, I guess, is still in play, but he's visiting the Browns. He's visiting the Giants. I actually thought, when I first heard that DK was going, that it was a guarantee that Russ was staying, because, fun fact, Russell Wilson's wife, Sierra, introduced DK Metcalf to his now, well, I think their girlfriend, fiance, Normandy, the R&B singer.
Oh, wow.
Right? So they have a relationship. They know each other. Again, the reason DK's in the
He's
relationship.
engaged to
she's in right now-
Normani?
Normandy.
Is that her name? Normani?
Yes. I don't know if he's engaged. Let me not put it out there. But they're
I didn't know
together.
that.
We
I
know
didn't
they're
know that.
together.
I like that.
I don't know who that is.
R&B singer.
Okay. All right.
Fantastic.
Singer.
She's good at what she does.
I always thought it was Normani, but I was wrong.
Normandy.
Normani?
Normandy.
Like Normandy, France.
Yeah. Well, not with the D. No D
Yeah,
there.
I know. Okay. All right. Anyway,
Whatever.
Come on.
Yes. So what are the Steelers doing? What do you think's going on right there? What is their mindset?
So I was shocked. I thought they were going to go back to Justin Fields. I know that
Me too.
that wasn't the direct messaging, but that was, I think, what a lot of us were picking up throughout the season with Russell Wilson, especially.
Right.
And let me
the
say
Steelers
that Justin
kinda fell
Fields
apart.
went to the Jets.
He
I
did
didn't
go
say
to
it.
the
Justin
Jets.
Fields
Yes.
is now the Jets starting
It's hard
quarterback
to keep track of all of
on a
these.
2-year deal. So again, no Russ. Well, maybe
years,
no
$40
Russ,
million.
no Justin Fields. That's what's going on. Sorry
Yes.
to cut you off.
Well, no, but he went to the Jets, and I thought he was going to stay with the Steelers. I thought Justin Fields was going to get that starting spot with the Steelers, and they would move on from Russell Wilson. Now I don't really know. Like, Russell Wilson and that Steelers offense kind of fell apart at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they've added pieces, and DK Metcalf and Russ have played together before in Seattle, but Russell Wilson's a little bit older now, so I guess if I had to pick, I would honestly choose Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers. I don't really see much from Aaron Rodgers that would give me hope if I'm the Steelers, but who knows?
We're talking about quarterbacks that are either knocking at the door of 40 and Aaron Rodgers is 41, 42. How much more does he have left?
Nothing.
I mean, come on. I mean, what is he going to do?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. What is he going to do?
Nothing.
Right now, I mean, like I said, he could be in a dark cave somewhere smoking peyote or whatever right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. He sits back and he's living his life. Does he want to win? Or does he just want to play football? I don't know if right now where he lies, and I don't know him like that. I just look and see how he played last year. I didn't see it. I mean, he just didn't have what I saw him. I mean, he used to be amazing. Now he's not. I don't think he's an average quarterback now.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, why switch off of Russell Wilson when you don't really have a better option? Like,
Well,
I just think that you would go with a guy who's played with DK Metcalf before and a little bit younger. Not that he's young by any means.
Well, I'll tell you what the big major thing for the Steelers are right now. They got to pay one of these two guys. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
Last year, they didn't have to pay Russell Wilson's salary. I think he made the minimum because the Broncos were still paying the majority of his,
Right.
of his salary.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot.
Now they have to pay him in order for him to play.
Yeah.
So what do? What type of money are you trying to allocate to this quarterback when you have a lot of holes still left,
And there were other quarterbacks on the market.
Yeah.
that's the funny thing. Younger quarterbacks that they could have dealt with. Seattle did a lot of moves also. They had transitions of quarterbacks. Geno Smith traded to the Raiders, and they picked up Sam Darnold in free agency. What do you think about Geno going to the Raiders? What do you think about Sam Darnold going to Seattle? I'll say this first. I'm like, what is Seattle doing?
Right.
You trade DCAF, you let go of Tyler Lockett, but then you go I thought that meant you were just, hey, we're going to cave it in. We're going to rebuild. Yeah. We're going to get things going. But then they signed Sam Darnold to a Kirk Cousins-like contract. 3 years, I think $100 million about. They signed him to a Kirk Cousins-like contract. So
which
that
is a
means
lot for one good season.
Yeah. But that let me know that you're going for it despite trading DK and Tyler. So I'm confused on what Seattle's actually going for. And even the Raiders getting Geno Smith, you thought they would try to move up and get Shador. You thought something was going to happen. Now they get a veteran quarterback. Again, I don't know what to make of it, Devin. Can you make something of it?
In Seattle, no, not at all, because I had the same thought process as you. I don't know why my brain keeps thinking that Pete Carroll is coaching Seattle still.
He's in Oakland.
He's in Oakland.
Vegas.
Yeah.
No, Vegas. Yeah, yeah.
I know. It's so confusing. And I was about to say, like, what is Pete Carroll doing? But it's interesting that now he has Geno Smith. Not that Geno Smith was his quarterback during the bulk of his coaching in Seattle. But I don't know what Seattle's doing. They were kind of a confusing team to watch in the past 2 seasons, really, where like they would have glimpses where they could show potential and be a good team, not a great team. So when they got rid of DK, Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith gone, Sam Darnold, like if they want to pay him that much, I personally just would want to see maybe a little bit more, but I know that's not how this league works. Just like one season and then where you fall apart completely in the playoffs with the Vikings would not be enough for me. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I also don't know what their draft outlook looks like. I would assume that they have an earlier first round pick.
They got a lot going on.
Yeah,
Seattle has nothing. Smith and Jigma is the only guy they have as far as a quality receiver on their roster. And when I got Valdez Scant, come on now, he was a bust when he was with Kansas City. And you look at him now, he's there. I don't see anything right now that can make me say, they're going to be all right. I mean, their offensive line will be okay, but like they're still a tight end. Noah Fant, he hasn't done anything in a long, long time. And I'm just I don't know. And on the defensive side of the ball, I still don't see anything there that really is going to highlight this team being competitive in their division. So I don't know what they're doing. I mean, we'll see.
Confusion. Other wide receiver makes. Again, the Rams doing similar things to Seattle, but with the wide receiver position. They let go of Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
They pick up Devontae Adams.
Yes.
Cooper Kupp, I kind of get he was consistently injured, right? But when he was healthy, he was really good. Devontae Adams, I'm like, why do you choose the teams that you choose? Not that the Rams weren't competitive and they had a chance to beat the Eagles, a small chance to beat the Eagles and all that other stuff. But when you're that top flight of a wide receiver, why not go to the best possible teams, right? Again, the Eagles don't have a spot for him, but why not go to, Eagles, Chiefs, like go to those top-ranked teams as a top-ranked wide receiver? I just don't get why he continues to pick the teams he picks.
I
But
will
that's
say,
what the Rams are doing.
Out of all of the teams and poor choices that Devontae Adams has made throughout his NFL career, I would say that this maybe is the best. It's not not like the best, but for him, considering his past, he's like the guy who keeps choosing toxic girls to date. Like like this one's a little bit better. Like maybe you could settle down a little, but you still don't know. It's still a gamble. Maybe you can change her. We'll see. But
which you never can, by the way. You can never change that person, just to let y'all know.
No. But yeah, at least he didn't go I don't think he's super close with Stafford. Like he didn't follow it. He learned his lesson from following his friends.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's at a point now where he used to be a top 3 receiver in the league. He was their work. In fact, he might have been the number 1 for like 4 or 5 years straight. And then now, he's getting that. But I mean, I think this is one heck of a opportunity for him. You know, Matthew Stafford still wants to win. Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua.
I think both
nice mix.
Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf I think both of them are probably the most likely to have a resurgence in being an elite wide receiver. I think a lot of people kind of overlook them because they weren't on teams that were super great.
Right.
And I think both of them could have great seasons.
If the Steelers get a quarterback.
Exactly.
Right. When we come back, we got to discuss the teams that we like. First of all, we got to discuss the Eagles, defending Super Bowl team, and they lost a lot. Some people feel like that's too much. Some people feel like it's going to be just fine. We'll talk about that. In the end, my 49ers, what are they doing? They're just letting go of everybody, not gaining anything. So we'll talk about those 2 teams when we come back, plus a little bit of trivia.
This is the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to the Sunday Spread presented by BetMGM. This is probably the busiest week of football news the entire year, including the football season. When you just talk about transactions, things being moved, NFL Twitter is never like this. Now NFL Twitter is crazy right now with all the things going on. And we got to go to the Super Bowl champs. You win the Super Bowl, and then you release half your defense, right? They have a number 1 defense in the entire league, and everybody's gone. The biggest shocker of it all was CJ gone, being traded to the Houston Texans. Again, the guy who's the crash out, the ISS. He's going to do all the things you need him to do. He's going to talk trash, not only to the other team, but to his own teammates or former teammates like Darius Slay. He's going to talk trash to everybody. They traded him along with, again, letting go, I believe it was 7 of their starters, right? Was it 6 or 7 of their starters?
Well, that was last year.
What? For what?
Last year, they let go of 7 starters.
Okay.
And this year, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But they let go of.
Defensively, it's been C.J. Gardner-Johnson traded, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat to the Cardinals.
Darius Slay goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Slay to Steelers. James Bradbury, but he didn't play anyways.
You say Milton Williams?
Asai Rogers.
Yep.
I said Milton Williams.
Who else? They let linebacker.
Oren Burks.
Oren Burks. That one didn't make sense because he's a good, he's not a good, go-to guy, but when he had to, step in, he made good plays. Yeah.
Yep, very serviceable.
And with that said, the rumor in Philadelphia is they're going to potentially trade Dallas Goedert, right? So a lot of things going on in Philadelphia, and they picked up some minor moves with they didn't pick up anyone that's going to come in and start.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, to start with you, Barrett, what's your take on the Eagles all season? Are you in the mood of they're Super Bowl champs, trust Howie Roseman, everything's going to be fine, or are you a little bit worried about all the releases without gaining anything?
I think that Howie put himself in a position that he can get carte blanche to do these type of moves because he's shown the ability to draft very, very well and have guys that come in and be backups to become starters. I like what they're doing because their coaching staff can mold these guys into what they want them to be. So when I say they let C.J. Gardner-Johnson go, I think they think that, at this point, Sidney Brown is in a position where he can play and be a starter. But I think it was more so money aspect because I think that C.J. Gardner-Johnson would have asked for more money. And since he would have asked for more money, they can't pay him and pay Reed Blankenship. And they're definitely going to have to pay him this year. So he gets the deal. C.J. Gardner-Johnson will be looking like, oh, who's better out of, between us. So I think they kind of wanted to stop the fire, stop the smoke before it came a fire, and let him go because of that. Plus, the amount of money they're going to have to pay him. I really think that it was they come off better doing this than keeping him in the locker room. I don't think it had anything to do with him other than, getting his number off the books. When you look at other moves, Oren Burkslee's $5 million for 2 years. We could have afforded it here, but he wants to go be a starter.
Right. Same with Isaiah Rodgers, same deal. A lot of people are upset over him leaving. Even Darius Slay would say throughout the regular season to media, like, Isaiah Rodgers is proving that he can be a starter for a great team.
Yep.
And he was never going to be a starter in Philadelphia because the Eagles have young talent. And same with Darius Slay. Like, they have Quinyon Mitchell came in. They have Cooper DeJean. They have Keely Ringo, who they seem to really like. I don't know who that other spot is going to go to.
Right.
With safety, that's another question mark, too. That C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade just, still doesn't sit right with me just because the guard, I don't even remember his name, the guard, he's a former first-round pick that they're getting back from the Texans, but he wasn't even playing well. And I know that Jeff Stoutland, the Eagles offensive line coach, is renowned. He's almost like the Vic Fangio of the O-line, where he can kind of rehab these players back to play at their highest potential. We saw that with Mekhi Becton. But if you already did that with Mekhi Becton, who is still technically on the team, why would what are you doing aside from saving maybe $8 million? At the end of the day, it's really not that much money. I know the Eagles have a lot tight cap space. I think that Howie has something up his sleeve, whether it's a trade for an active player in this draft. I mean, they now have 19. If they lose Mekhi Becton, going to be 20 draft picks in this year's draft and 2026. So I think the possibility of Howie Roseman trading for whether it's an established player or trading up in the draft to get someone who can come in and start right away and make an impact right away, whether it's a tight end or an edge or someone that they need, I could see that happening. I just don't think that they're going to, go into this season with all these holes or a player that's kind of a mediocre player.
And again, like you said, Boston, we don't know where he's going to go, what the situation is going to be. I don't give Howie Roseman carte blanche. I feel like he's like a streaky shooter. When he's on, he the hottest thing in the world. He can't miss. You going to win everything. He going to have drop 12 threes. He's going to drop 50. You can't stop the man. But when he off, put him on the bench. Get him out the game.
Donnell Pumphrey.
That's all I got to say. That's how I feel about him.
He hasn't been off in 4 drafts. He hasn't been off since he'd drafted
Donnell Pumphrey.
But it's not just
who did he draft over Justin Jefferson?
Oh, you talking about
Jalen
Reagor?
Yeah.
But it's not just drafts, it's free agency, right? So you look at he's botched post Super Bowl every Super Bowl, right? The last 2 Super Bowls, he botched the all season afterwards, right?
Yeah.
He didn't bring in the proper talent. He didn't bring in the proper coordinators. Yeah. He didn't do what he needed to do. He botched it each time. He had to bring back CJGJ because he realized how valuable he was, right? So Howie will do that. Again, when he's hot, he gonna get you the Super Bowl. He gonna get you a Super Bowl win, obviously, as he's done twice. But he's had these cold streaks where you go, this window should be wide open. We should be similar to the Kansas City Chiefs, and we go to the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl every year.
Yeah,
that's who we should be. But because he makes these mistakes, you'll go from going to the Super Bowl to a first-round knockout in the playoffs and a wild card team that doesn't have enough talent. So that's what worries me based on his history post-Super Bowl. And I think a lot of coaches in all sports will do this where they look at a guy and they'll go, there's a more talented option for a cheaper price. But they don't realize what he does for a team, right? They don't realize, okay, yes, there's more talented players than CJGJ, right? You can get someone who's as talented or more talented for a cheaper price. But what he brings to the soul of the team is going to cost you, right? That's what you need. You don't need a more talented player in the position. You need a player that brings that.
Yeah,
and I think that's what bothers me the most about the Eagles offseason. It's just you're not reading the soul of your team. You're not reading what you need in that manner. And I think that could end up hurting them next season. Again, still a lot of moves to be made.
That's what is so
but he has a history of it.
Confusing to me about it. And it's because everything you said is absolutely true, Sean, where Howie Roseman, of all people, should know this. And I think he does. And, a lot of like around here, we call it, Howie season and Howie we trust. And I'm trying to do that. And he even made comments to media during the combine where he said, I just want everyone, meaning fans mostly, to have patience with me and with our off season, because like we have things in the works, but it might not look like the typical off season after a Super Bowl that you would expect. Like he has to know that when he lost CJ Gardner-Johnson and his past post Super Bowl off seasons didn't go the way that he expected them to. So why would he just go back and run it back and do it again? Like I just feel like there has to be something that he has in mind that he's wanting to play out, whether it's in the draft, whether it's after the post June 1st designation. I don't know, but there has to be something Howie has up his sleeve, because this is just too bizarre to be a normal off season.
Again, he a legend here. He's gonna be fine regardless, like job wise and all that other stuff. I just think some of his moves in the past decade have kept them from being the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well,
where you're like, I'm there all the time. Like it's more of a roller coaster where the highs are incredible, but you still get these lows or mids that you shouldn't get, right? Like you should be up here for a lot longer if you was smarter about some of his decisions post some of these seasons.
Well, you got to realize this. Once you pay your quarterback, it's really, really hard to go in and fix problems the way you did before you paid your quarterback. And I think he has put himself in a position where, yes, he paid the quarterback, but he has on the defensive side of the ball, it's almost like they haven't paid the quarterback because all these rookie deals and these young guys are playing, which is allowing him to do that. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, you got Nakobe Dean. He's going to have to get paid next year. You look at that roster and like, you got to pay Reed Blankenship. These are young guys on young deals, and because they're on their rookie deals, it's allowing them to be more fluent on how they sign people now. So, I like the fact that these guys are starting to play well for him. All these rookie contracts, they're becoming pretty good starters, but some guys are gonna have to step up. Moro Ojomo. He's going to have to ball out.
And they did just sign an edge rusher, whose name I cannot remember. I just forgot. Joshua Uche.
Uche? Yeah.
That's
Joshua Uche.
Who?
Yeah, exactly, from Kansas City.
You know what I mean? Who? So
from Kansas City, too.
They're going to be fine because their talent is a certain level of talent, but again, Eagles won a back-to-back Super Bowls, and that's what they're focused on, and that's why some fans are worried. We'll go to the 49ers real quick, who is in mass exodus. Everybody's going for the 49ers
running
from that team. Again, Talanoa Hufanga, Deebo Samuels, Dre Greenlaw. I'm losing track of all the names that the 49ers released this offseason, but it's been a lot of names that are going.
Is Brandon Ayuk coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back from injury. But, again, the 49ers letting go a lot of key pieces. The ones that bothers me is Dre Greenlaw because, again, he's the heart. When I just talked about the soul of the defense,
yes.
Right? Like he's CJGJ. He's crash out. I will fight you, Dom type behavior.
And that's
galvanizes
so
his team. It is. You need, again, just from the half of football he played last year, you were like, oh, there's a major defense. Even though the 49ers ended up being a top 5, I think they were 5th ranked defense. But it was just like, you're shady 5th ranked defense, right? Like we can score on you. You ain't that big of a deal. He comes on the field, you go, oh. So how do you replace that? And I think the 49ers are in the same boat where I like almost all their moves. All right, y'all are injured. Y'all are older. We can get better. But you hadn't replenished. I haven't seen any replenishing. Just like the Eagles, that's what I think the biggest thing for the Eagles. Like, all right, everybody's gone, but it's not like you got Trey Hendrickson. It's not like you replenished somewhere. 49ers releasing everybody, but they got to play Brock Purdy. So they got to pay Brock Purdy, figure out room for that, and they had to figure out a way to get younger. So I'm not totally discouraged by the 49ers offseason because something else happens. I think John Lynch isn't as great as Howie Roseman, but he's a great GM. So something else is going to happen, but I'm still worried. Still worried about the San Francisco.
I mean, how do you replace those guys? Yeah.
The 49ers, like the San Francisco's, what you're saying makes me feel better about the Eagles, and it makes me realize that this is almost, for most teams, this is the case at this time of year where it's like, why are we not doing anything, or why are we giving away so many players? We're losing so much, not adding. And when you really look at it, the teams that are adding a lot of players are the ones who were struggling last season. So Not that the 49ers didn't.
The Patriots.
But
yeah.
The Panthers, the Patriots, even the Steelers struggled at the end of the year. Like the teams making these big splash moves. They don't have a quarterback. Those are the biggest moves so far in the offseason. Like, it's still very early, so I can't believe I'm giving a 49ers fan comfort right now. But it does make me feel better that I think we tend to have, tunnel vision and just look at the Bears. Yes, Kenny, that's a good example. Like, just look at our own team, and when you step back and take a wider look, like, there's a ton of teams out there that aren't necessarily making a ton of moves or letting go maybe what seems like too many players, but it'll all come out in the wash.
Yeah, again, when you have great ownership, great GMing, and great head coaching, you're going to be fine, which the Eagles have and which I believe the 49ers have.
Mm-hmm.
So a team that did make a lot of moves, the Broncos. They got my Dre Greenlaw and my Talanoa Hufanga. They got Evan Ingram. They're one of those teams that made a bunch of moves from a young squad. And I know you said, hey, making a bunch of moves isn't always great. I like the Broncos' moves, especially if those guys are healthy. Mm-hmm. All those individuals have a history of having injuries. But if they all come in and have a relatively healthy season, the Broncos could be one of those teams in the come up. What do you think about the Broncos sort of coming up, making moves in their potential? Because, again, they shocked the hell out of me this past season.
Yeah.
What do you think about their potential?
The Broncos are going to be a good team. They already had one of the best defenses in the league. And when they go out and make moves like bringing in Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga,
don't they have
players.
the Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, they do. I mean, Patrick Surtain.
Yes.
The cornerback, Patrick Surtain. They're the real deal. Nick Bonito, baller. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the best outside linebacker / pass rushers in the league. I think he had 2 picks last year and ran him back to the house, So they have a great defense. And you know what's really tripping me out? That they still have Singleton, former Eagle.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Still balling
I forgot about him.
He is still balling for him.
What's his name, Alex Singleton?
Yeah. So
CFL. He played in Canada.
Yep. Came and ball for us.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm just looking at, their roster defense. Their defense is going to be pretty good. Offensively, they've got a quarterback, Bo Nix, young guy, rookie contract, so they can bring in people. They're going to be okay, man. They're going to be okay. They're going to be they will probably win their division. I'm saying it right now. They'll probably win their division next year.
I feel like
with
they
Kansas City in there.
They're like a stud receiver away. Because they brought in Ingram, who's a good tight end.
Yep.
Receiving wise, they have Cortland Sutton.
Yep.
Who else do they have?
Mims.
Yeah, I think maybe they have the 20th pick in the first round, so I don't know what else their needs are. But they were a good team last year. Like everything,
yes, they were.
I agree with everything Barrett said. They remember there was what week was it when I was like, guys, don't look now, but the Broncos are. Like they've won 4 in a row and they're doing pretty well. And then
it was like week 13 or 14.
Yeah, and then they got completely crushed by I don't remember if it was the Chiefs or someone, and I was proved wrong. But they showed flashes of potential.
Okay, real quick, Trey Henderson, Aaron Rodgers. I think the 2 biggest names out there that don't have teams right now. Where do you think they go? Let's throw out a prediction where each one will go. We'll go around with Aaron Rodgers.
I think Aaron Rodgers will eventually be a Giant.
Good, nasty work.
He's going to be a Giant, and he won't have to move. He'll just stay wherever he's going to stay at, whatever cave he's going to be at. He won't have to move city from the state. So yeah.
Okay.
I think Aaron Rodgers will end up on the Steelers.
I agree. I just think because the Steelers are desperate.
Yeah.
They are desperate.
But
Russell's
so are the Giants.
Walking around, but the Giants are like, you're bad anyway, so
yeah.
we can just – Steelers are like, we have a playoff team. We made playoff moves. We made Super Bowl moves. We got Darius Slade. We got DK Metcalf with no quarterback.
Right.
So they're desperate for anything right now. So although I would love to see him go to Minnesota because that would be the Brett Favre route, and that would be hilarious.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Hilarious. Trey Henderson, real quick, where does he end up?
I think he's the L.A. Charger.
L.A. Charger, okay.
Yeah.
I'll say the Eagles just, to manifest it, but I don't know.
There you go.
I'm going to go Detroit Lions. We haven't
heard. They need him?
We haven't heard a peep out of it.
They already have.
Their defense wasn't any good. They got Aiden Hutchinson coming back.
Yeah.
He's back.
They could put Trey Henderson on the other side, and maybe your defense steps up a lot.
Well, Aiden
Hutchinson. Can they pay both those guys?
Right now they can, from what I saw from the cap. So, I just think that would be. Detroit has been silent. We haven't heard releases or signings from them.
Yep.
make a little bit of splash. All right, when we come back, we will get to trivia. We will get to fact or cap, and then we'll get to what's on our mind to wrap up the show, okay? This has been the Sunday Spread presented by BetMGM.
Let's get off the sidelines and back into the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to the Sunday Spread, once again presented by BetMGM. Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell. It's trivia time. Our man Kenny Henderson, come on in here, give us trivia. The king of trivia. That's me right here. So, let's get this next win on the way. By the way, Barry, you weren't here last week. I won last week, too. So
No, you didn't.
2-0. Yes, I did.
Oh, but I got one right last week.
Yes, exactly. You got one right.
Progress.
But I took the dub. Kenny, come on in here.
All right, let's see if Devin or Barrett can get on the board here, if you can continue the winning streak. So, which running back led all rookies in rushing yards? So this is only rookies.
Last year.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
That's tough because without having names in front of me, I'm like,
Devin, she's got her hand
Will
up.
Shipley.
Oh no,
Will shit.
no, it's not Will Shipley.
Darn it.
Devin, the funny thing is you love this guy. You loved betting on this guy.
I don't even remember.
The only issue is you might
I
not
just
know
I
if he
can't
was-
remember who's a rookie or not.
Yeah, I don't remember the rookies.
I said Will Shipley because he got in like blowout games I think against the Commanders he ran for he had 160
It's,
plus yard run.
It's the running back from the Giants. What is his name?
No, it's not. It's not Tyrone Tracy.
Tracy.
This
He
guy-
had a
I
good season,
forgot
but
about
he
him.
didn't get in until mid-season, late season.
This guy was actually like 6th or 7th in rushing yards total. So like when whoever figures this out first is going to be like, oh,
You just gonna have to. We can't wait. You're gonna have to give it to us.
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving. And
Yes.
That don't
that's-
count. Dylan put that in the
I know,
chat.
Dylan said it
That's
in the chat.
Dylan in the chat.
Dylan put that in the chat. That's not a
I
point.
genuinely did not know that Bucky Irving was a rookie.
So-
I didn't know Bucky was a rookie either.
Wow. Okay.
I had
yeah.
no
Bucky
clue he was a
Irving.
rookie.
So Dylan
is
gets that
Dylan get a
point.
Who did- Dylan, we'll give Dylan
yeah,
the point.
Dylan, that's it. I don't.
Let's stick with the rookies. Which wide receiver led all rookies in receiving yards?
Malik Neighbors.
Nope.
Supposed to raise your hand.
No.
It wasn't Malik Neighbors.
Damn. All right.
He led in targets and receptions, but not receiving yards.
Which rookie?
Xavier Worthy.
No, not Xavier Worthy.
That's a tough one too. 'Cause I was thinking Malik Neighbors also.
All right.
Yeah, where this is.
Dylan
embarrassing for us.
says Brian Thompson Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian
Yes,
Thomas
it's
Jr.
Brian Thomas.
Who does he even
All right,
play
well-
for?
All right.
I don't even
The
remember
Jaguars.
who he plays.
The Jags. Yeah.
Okay, who
I mean,
cares
who-
about the
yeah, nobody
Jaguars?
paid attention
No one
to the
watches
Jags.
Jacksonville.
Oh,
All right. Well,
that's a little disrespectful. Brian Thomas was 3rd in the league, all of players in receiving yards last season. So I mean,
That's all right.
yeah, who cares about the Jags? But he had a hell of a year.
It's 0 for us and 2 for the casino. All right, what's the
let's
third one? Hopefully we don't go over in
move-
this one. Now we're just
let's
playing for
move
show
on.
pride.
Let's move on from the rookies and move on to a team
Thank you.
stat. So which team went undefeated at home last season, including the playoffs? Because there's 2 teams that went undefeated at home during the regular season.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Evans on the board. The Kansas City Chiefs went 8-0, and then their only loss in the playoffs was against the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So they did not lose at Arrowhead last year, but
I knew that one.
They didn't lose a whole lot, but-
Salute. Respect.
Thank you.
All right, next one.
all right.
Are
All
there
right,
2
2 more.
teams? Whatever.
Well, he said one
Which
that included the playoffs.
Oh. okay.
Yeah. Which team had the worst point differential last season? This might be a little tough because this team played a lot better in the second half of the season, but the first half of the season, they were basically going to finish last no matter what, based on how the first few
Broncos.
games went. Nope, not the Broncos.
The Patriots.
Nope, not the Patriots. Think about a team that's been bad but got better. And they're still not very good, but I think
Texans?
that they're on the uptick. Not the Texans. This was not a playoff team. So the worst point differential. So this team was getting crushed, especially
that's
early
the
on.
Panthers. Then. The Panthers.
Oh,
No.
the Panthers.
The Panthers.
The Panthers.
Yep.
Barrett is on the board.
Yep, it's the Panthers.
So I guess this last question is set up perfectly to be a tiebreaker because it's an Eagles question for Devin and Barrett to get on the board.
I'm still in this because I could tie all three of them. Don't try to kick me out.
I guess that's true. We could have a three-way tie, but then Dylan would win because he got the other 2 points. So,
well, the casino always wins.
That's true. All right. So the Eagles famously destroyed the Chiefs. It was really 40-6, but we can call it 40-22.
That's right.
In Super Bowl 59. Which Eagles player led the team in receptions that day?
That's a good question, actually.
Ask it again, please.
Which Eagles player led the team in receptions?
Jahan Dotson.
In the Super Bowl. It was not Jahan Dotson. No, it was not.
No, it was
Devontae
Dallas
Smith
Goedert.
or Dallas Goedert? Yeah.
Dallas Goedert.
Nope.
Not either of them?
No, not either of them.
Mm.
This is an interesting one. I thought this was a good one.
Is it Saquon?
It's Saquon Barkley.
Wow.
Saquon Barkley had 6 receptions in the Super Bowl. The second guy Devontae had 4. I believe AJ and Dallas both had 4. Dylan saying 3 points. Let's go. So
he said it too. See, you got to give us some time, Dylan. You didn't even give me no time to get that one.
We're gonna have to get Dylan on mic next week to go up against you guys. And so he's not typing all the answers in the chat. But legendary performance from Dylan.
All right. Well, that was shameful stuff from us.
That was all world, Dylan.
We got to do better next week. We got to do better next week. With that said, let's play fact or cap. All right. For those who don't know, cap means a lie. So I'm going to read out a statement, and you're going to tell me whether or not it's fact or cap. I saw this coming into the show. I thought it was funny. I thought it was interesting. So I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. Kirk Cousins is the worst free agency signing of all time. Signed with the Atlanta Falcons, and a lot of people with the Atlanta Falcons are upset. It was one of the worst signings ever gave. Again, it was a 3-year, $100 million contract, and he's out already. Is that
the quarterback again?
Penix Jr.
Right.
From Washington. He came in and did a good job. He's going to be their future quarterback. Now Kirk Cousins is, I don't know what. He ain't there. He ain't their future. He ain't there right now. So when you think of the worst contracts in NFL history, and the Eagles got a couple of them, would you consider Kirk Cousins to be the worst, or do you have someone more? Because I think Kirk Cousins was 180. Let me look up that contract while y'all think about it. I think he was 180 million for 3 years. Is that the worst contract that you've ever seen, or do you have one in mind that could be worse? Is that fact or cap?
Or it has to be a quarterback?
It doesn't have to be a quarterback.
No,
We're talking about anybody.
Yeah, I feel like quarterbacks have the highest money for.
Again, it was 4 years, 180 million, and he's already basically done.
Hold on, let me check something.
Because again, the Eagles can go Nnamdi Asomugha. That was a big contract that y'all gave out.
I was going to go Carson Wentz. I was looking up how much they had to pay Carson Wentz, but Howie Roseman is a wizard and somehow turned in what they got back for Carson Wentz into like all of the young talent that they now have on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, it kind of paid off. 4-year, $128 million contract extension with the Eagles in 2019. Which he played, one season after that?
You had Albert Hainsworth, the original bad contract, 7
years,
$100 million.
That might be the worst right there.
Ooh, who did the Eagles have from the Cowboys who just wasn't? I don't even know if it was a bad
DeMarco
contract.
Murray?
DeMarco Murray.
That was just like a bad signing. I don't know.
I think that was coaching too. That was coaching too.
I'm giving y'all the list.
Sam Bradford has to be up there.
Nick Foles got a 4-year, $88 million contract for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville
Absolutely fell apart.
I know Bryce Huff is up
Bryce
there,
Huff
just not
might be
enough.
up there.
So what are y'all going to say cap based on some of these things that y'all have heard?
I mean, yeah, that sucks to pay a quarterback that much and have him
4 years,
pan out.
180, bench first season, won't see more time ever again.
And it's not looking like they can trade him, right?
No, they
I don't
can't.
think anyone's. Yeah. So Fact?
Fact.
Fact, because that's a lot of money.
Fact.
Guys, it's actually cap.
What? How?
It's
I
not
was-
a right or wrong. This isn't
And
trivia.
this is actually a right or wrong answer.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah, that's
Cleveland
true.
Browns.
How could I forget about
So
that?
record
True.
saying, I was waiting to see if it would have clicked. I was like, again, normally factor cap isn't right or wrong, like you said, but I was like, this. Once y'all hear this
Yeah.
one, y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, because everyone sort of forgot about it. Cleveland Browns still looking for a quarterback to this day.
Yeah.
He signed a
Hey, look,
5-year.
They just got Kenny Pickett.
Yes, 5-year, $230 million, all guaranteed.
All guaranteed. And the owner has to have that money put aside. He can't touch it. You just got to pay him. It's in escrow right now. It's in escrow. He's gonna get his money regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And he absolutely. I'm not gonna say he. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. But morally, just playing wise, he just things just aren't cool in his life, bro.
Again,
Yeah.
trash. He's trash all the way around.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to what's on your mind. All right, we got 2 minutes left, so let's get to
That, we
what
only got
is-
one factor cap question today?
Well, I had
it
another
was a
one,
quiz?
but we ran out of time. So I had another factor cap, but we ran out of time. So we're gonna get to what's on your mind because we only got 2 minutes left. Who wants to start? Dev, Barrett,
Barrett,
what's on
you
your
can
mind?
start.
Well, what's on my mind right now? How is this the year of the old quarterbacks still getting paid? All these quarterbacks are, from 38 to 42, and they're still getting paid the way they are. Russell Wilson, come on, man. I mean, are you kidding me? I just don't understand it. Where are the new quarterbacks? Why aren't we getting these new quarterbacks and putting them in a position to be great, man? I just don't understand it. How is it that these old quarterbacks are still in the mix?
That's valid.
Get them out of here.
You can't because they're going to sign
That's
some
true.
big deals.
That is true, but get them out of here.
I mean, look at the Raiders quarterback. Come on, man. Raiders quarterback. Seattle's quarterback. I mean, the list goes on and on about these. I mean, it's just, I'm kind of mad at my mom for having me too early. They're just giving away money right now. Giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback's old. I'm talking about these guys are so old that they can be, they can have, AARP cards. And they're still playing. I don't know. I'm jealous. I'm hating. Yes, I am.
Hey, it's fair to be jealous and hate on this one. What's on your mind, Dev?
So Tom Brady is the GOAT of football. I think we can all agree. You can't argue it. He's got the rings. He's got the wins. Broadcasting wise, I know he's only one season in, but I'm just not feeling Tom Brady as a Fox broadcaster.
No one is.
He got to call the Super Bowl, and I know Fox doesn't have the Super Bowl next year, but Tom Brady will be back in that booth. He can't even talk to a lot of teams' personnel because he's involved with the Raiders. So, what are we doing? Pick a side, Tom Brady, and I think you should pick the side. If ownership is what you want to do, you're going to be recruiting players like Matthew Stafford out at Yellowstone Club or whatever the bougie ski club is that you go to in Montana and then claiming that you don't. Just stick with that, and then you don't have to be in this weird in-between situation, and you're not even very good at calling football, unfortunately.
You know who's the best out of the bunch? Greg Olson.
I think Greg Olson is
Greg Olson's good.
phenomenal.
I think he's the best in the business right now.
What's on my mind real quick is don't ever in your life as a father me. Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James, they got their little beef. Everyone's saying because he critiqued his son. It's not because he critiqued his son. It's because he said, as a father, you should. Don't you ever as a father me. Don't you ever tell me how to parent. Don't you ever tell me what to do for my child. Again, if you want to critique my son and his basketball ability and all that stuff, but once you question how good I am as a parent, hands are going to be put on you. Yeah. That's why LeBron stepped to Stephen A. That's why Joel Embiid pushed a reporter, Marcus Hayes, in the locker room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't ever question my
forget.
parenting ability. That's what's going to happen. So that's what's on my mind.
And don't make it personal. Why are you bringing kids into
right.
that? I mean, I know LeBron's kid.
If
Yeah.
I could have brought my son to the NFL,
Yeah.
damn well I'd have did it.
Yeah.
Again, critique his ability. Don't critique my parenting.
Right.
That's off limits. Sunday Spread. Another great show. Y'all have fun. Enjoy your day. Always presented by BetMGM. For Devin Caney, for Barrett Brooks, for Sean Bell.